We haven't got any new information about the new dungeon thing we will be getting, but one thing we got, and it's pretty old actually, it's some old images from that possibly could be from the new dungeon mode that's coming in update 6 I think, or maybe update 5.5. it really depends, we don't know yet. But regardless, the point is that other than the trailer we got for the new dungeon, we don't really have a lot more than that to go off of, except some older sneak peeks that came during before the release of update 5, when they were sneak peeking for update 5. But this image wasn't added during update 5, and it seems like it's probably going to come out update 5.5, because why would they push it that far? Now what I'm talking about is this picture right here that looks like a museum, or like some sort of place where it's like a cave. So the point is basically that, does this have anything to do with the new dungeon? I mean, I don't see anything else it could be other than a dungeon to me. You traverse this castle, and then maybe there's a part of the castle that has this entrance, and when you enter the entrance, maybe you fight some sort of boss, Perona, maybe you fight Horus, maybe you fight some boss along those lines. But all in all, in general, we really have no idea what to expect, except that the dungeon has a bunch of traps, mazes, and it's probably gonna be a lot quicker than the regular dungeons, which take like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it really depends, like 20 minutes for most people, which is definitely not worth it, considering that most of the time you get common. Now it's probably gonna be the same for this one, but it'll be faster. Maybe it'll take you 10 minutes, hopefully, or less than that. It's not really something we can guess, really. Hopefully it's faster than the regular dungeon, because we do not want basically another version. We don't want a new map for the same dungeon system, alright? And so we want it to be quicker. Half the time it takes for a regular dungeon, this dungeon should take, but it also should be dangerous, as in it should be you cannot just easily run through the dungeon. It should be like that, to the point where should be a lot of traps and mazes, so you have to be careful, and at the same time a lot of obstacles. But if you get really good at the dungeon, you could be finishing at it at 5 minutes or 10 minutes, max. But yeah, definitely I see update 6 being pretty good if they do focus in on the game modes. The game modes being battle royale, they have to make sure that it's very good, and that anybody from level 0, level 1 to a level max level can enjoy and jump in immediately into the battle royale mode. There should not be any oh, you have to be level 500 otherwise you're at a disadvantage. You shouldn't have to level up to play the mode. You should be able to enter the game from the get-go and just play battle royale immediately. That's what I think would be the smartest game plan, so people don't if people don't want to level up and play the game regularly, they can just play the battle royale version if they wanted to, and that'd be making a lot more sense. Let's say Fortnite, you had to play Save the World before you got access to battle royale. That will literally almost make the game unplayable, because people don't want to go through the entirety of that. They just want to hop into it immediately. They want to get into the mix, they want to get into the battle royale immediately. That's what they want to do. So I think GPO should do the same. As for the dungeon system, the new dungeon, they should definitely focus on that as well. Try to make it as similar as the Cupid dungeon as possible. Not as similar, but follow the same footsteps of the Cupid dungeon. The Cupid dungeon was a very, very good dungeon. Unfortunately, it was temporary. That's one of the reasons I even played GPO at the time, was because Cupid's dungeon was so good, and there was not only an easy way to get fruits, because it literally took you 10 minutes to get through it, basically half the time of a regular dungeon. It was fun playing it for the first time. You got a lot of drops from killing the weird NPCs, all this stuff, and it was nice. People tried to get all the Cupid drops and all that stuff, and so in general I feel they should follow the footsteps of that and make sure that it's similar in the same way, and so we can have some replacements for the Cupid dungeon that got removed. But really, other than that, man, hopefully update 5 goes in the right way. The new dungeon, the battle royale, and all the other stuff that's being added. Hopefully, you know, they can fix it on the game modes, because the game modes matter a lot. You know, to me, Battle Royale is one of the key defining things that can definitely save the game from its decline. At the moment, it's in a decline, it's dying, or whatever you want to say. And yeah, check out the video I made yesterday. Was talking about, I forgot about something.